Before we dive into the shocking story of the highest-ranking CIA officer ever caught spying twice, make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell so you never miss a story of espionage, betrayal, and suspense. It was November 16, 1996, and Harold James Nicholson walked across the tarmac at Dallas International Airport. His camera bag slung over his shoulder contained documents that could shake the very foundation of American intelligence. No one knew that the man moving with such calm confidence was about to become one of the most infamous spies in CIA history. What he did next would shock the world and leave a trail of betrayal that reached the highest levels of national security. Harold James Nicholson was born in 1950 in New York City to a middle-class family. His father was an accountant and his mother a schoolteacher. From a young age, Harold displayed a quiet curiosity that set him apart from other children. He was fascinated by stories of spies and secret missions, often sneaking behind the sofa to listen as his father read accounts of intelligence operations. Even as a small boy, Harold was meticulous. He labeled his notebooks with cryptic codes and created miniature maps of his neighborhood, as if it were a field of covert operations. While other children played freely, Harold would sit quietly for hours, devising secret plans or decoding ciphers he invented himself. His teachers noticed his intelligence, but also his tendency to retreat into his own world. This shyness allowed him to observe details that others missed, and to analyze human behavior with precision. Family life was both nurturing and strict. His parents valued discipline, knowledge, and responsibility, qualities that Harold absorbed deeply. He had a younger sister who remembered him as distant but fiercely intelligent. He idolized figures from history who shaped events with strategy rather than brute force. By the age of 10, he had memorized biographies of military leaders, espionage accounts, and stories of double agents, often imagining himself in their shoes, thinking strategically about how he could outsmart adversaries. Socially, Harold struggled, often misunderstood by peers who found his interests unusual. Yet this isolation sharpened his mind and made him keenly aware of the power of secrecy and observation. He began creating secret codes to communicate with himself, noting patterns in human behavior that fascinated him. He understood early on that knowledge and discretion could give a person influence far beyond what others perceived. These early experiences set the foundation for his future in intelligence. Curiosity, ambition, and a fascination with the hidden world shaped his personality and moral compass. He learned that information was power, and that sometimes the most important actions were those unseen by the public. These lessons would drive him toward the CIA and eventually down the dangerous path of espionage. After high school, Harold enlisted in the United States Army, seeking adventure and structure. The military provided him with training that matched his sharp intellect and his meticulous nature. At the training grounds, he quickly distinguished himself, excelling in analytical exercises, surveillance drills, and tactical simulations. He was often the first to spot patterns in maps or predict the movements of opponents during field exercises. Harold's dedication and discipline caught the attention of his superiors, who encouraged him to apply for intelligence work. In the late 1970s, he transitioned into the CIA, bringing with him a combination of military precision and intellectual curiosity. From the beginning, he excelled, mastering cryptography, counterterrorism techniques, and covert field operations. Imagine him crouched in the shadows of a foreign city at dusk, decoding a message while every movement around him could be a threat. The thrill of being unseen yet powerful became intoxicating. His career advanced quickly. He became a specialist in operations that required intelligence gathering, covert communications, and operational strategy. He was trained in surveillance, counter-surveillance, and advanced cryptography. Every mission required precision, discretion, and calm under pressure. He learned to parachute into remote locations, establish safe houses, and navigate hostile environments. Each skill honed him further into the model of an elite intelligence officer. By the early 1990s, Harold had reached the rank of branch chief, overseeing counterterrorism operations at CIA headquarters. His responsibilities were immense, involving coordination with operatives worldwide and protection of highly sensitive information. Yet the demands of the role came at a personal cost. His marriage began to crumble. Long hours away from home created distance with his children, and the isolation of his work made friendships difficult to maintain. While he was achieving professional success, his personal life was quietly unraveling. Despite the sacrifices, Harold remained ambitious, driven by the thrill of secrecy and the power of knowledge. Each promotion validated his skills and discipline, but it also brought him closer to the edge, where temptation and danger would intersect in ways he could not yet predict. In 1994, Harold faced pressures that would change the course of his life. Isolation, personal financial stress, and the allure of opportunity combined to push him into betrayal. He began passing classified information to Russian intelligence, setting in motion a chain of events that would astonish the world. The first steps were subtle. Small envelopes hidden in coat pockets, coded letters mailed through intermediaries, and discreet meetings in parks or deserted streets. He became adept at manipulating both the system and the people around him. The thrill of control and the intoxication of secrecy drew him deeper. Every action carried immense risk. Discovery could mean prison, ruin, or worse. Yet Harold continued, motivated by greed and a growing sense of invincibility. Visualize him slipping through shadows in a European city at night, briefcase in hand, exchanging intelligence with an agent whose face would remain anonymous in history. Each transaction was calculated, precise, and silent. The tension was unbearable. The information he shared included sensitive counterterrorism operations, the identities of field agents, and strategic intelligence critical to national security. Inside the CIA, Harold was seen as exemplary. No one suspected that the man coordinating high-level operations was simultaneously undermining his country. Every award and promotion he received became ironic, a testament to the danger of deception hidden behind competence. Each handoff of intelligence was both a betrayal of trust and a demonstration of his skills in espionage tradecraft. Harold's life was now a dangerous, double existence. By day, he was a respected CIA officer. By night, a spy feeding secrets to a foreign power. The tension of living in this dual reality created psychological stress, yet it also sharpened his cunning and mastery of covert operations. The shadow of betrayal was now a constant companion. By 1996, subtle patterns in Harold Nicholson's behavior had begun to surface, setting off alarms within the CIA and the FBI. Small discrepancies in his financial records caught the attention of auditors. Unexplained trips overseas, sudden deposits into his accounts, and meetings that could not be justified through work reports started to form a pattern too clear to ignore. The agency began to piece together a shadow trail, a breadcrumb path that hinted at something far more dangerous than simple misconduct. Harold had underestimated the very intelligence apparatus he had served for decades. Surveillance teams were mobilized. Agents worked tirelessly to map his movements and monitor his communications. Hidden cameras were installed in hotels where he frequently stayed during official trips. Microphones picked up conversations in safe houses, and cryptographers analyzed patterns in his communications. Polygraphs and covert questioning of colleagues were woven into the investigation. Every seemingly mundane action, checking into a hotel, making a phone call, or leaving the office late at night, was scrutinized with painstaking precision. The tension escalated because at any moment Harold could sense the net tightening around him, though he had no idea exactly how close it already was. The FBI watched from shadows, often physically present yet invisible, tracking his hand movements, his travel schedules, and interactions with seemingly innocuous contacts. Each day added pressure. Each observation created stakes that could not be ignored. The suspense reached a point where viewers could almost feel the pulse of the agents as they waited, imagining that one misstep could end Harold's career and freedom forever. Every briefcase he carried, every envelope he handled, became potential evidence. The hidden world he had navigated so expertly was starting to close in, and he was unaware of how meticulously the authorities had mapped his double life. As the investigation progressed, the psychological tension mounted. Harold was no longer just a branch chief. He had become a target, a man surrounded by invisible eyes and ears. The FBI reconstructed timelines, tracking international phone calls, monitoring bank transfers, and cross-referencing travel records. They used every tool available, from forensic accounting to signal intelligence, uncovering the scope of his betrayal in horrifying detail. Each intercepted communication revealed further acts of espionage, exposing the national security secrets he had been passing. The investigators knew one thing for certain: Harold Nicholson was not an amateur. He was a master spy, highly trained, meticulous, and extremely dangerous. Catching him would require patience, precision, and a strategy that left no room for error. The story had become a high-stakes chess game, with national security and countless lives hanging in the balance. As the camera of history would later show, every move he made was being recorded, analyzed, and anticipated. The tension built toward a climax that was inevitable yet cinematic, leaving viewers wondering what would happen when the walls finally closed in. In December 1996, the inevitable confrontation arrived. After months of meticulous observation and evidence gathering, Harold Nicholson was finally cornered. The arrest unfolded like a scene from a spy thriller. Agents moved silently yet decisively, surrounding his office and home. Every item of interest was seized: briefcases filled with intelligence reports, computers containing sensitive files, notebooks filled with coded information, and personal effects that mapped out the network he had constructed. It was a moment where decades of training, secrecy, and betrayal collided with the unyielding machinery of justice. The tension of that morning was electric. The agents had rehearsed the sequence, anticipating every possible reaction. The scene was chaotic and surreal. Colleagues watched in shock as the man they had trusted and admired for years was led away in handcuffs. Family members were stunned, some in disbelief, others overwhelmed by a bitter mixture of betrayal and sorrow. Friends and peers who had respected his brilliance could hardly reconcile the image of a committed intelligence officer with that of a traitor, actively undermining the very country he had served. Harold himself maintained composure externally, but internally faced a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. Fear, pride, shame, and disbelief wove together as he realized that every carefully plotted move had led to this unavoidable conclusion. The reality of imprisonment and disgrace replaced the illusion of invincibility he had cultivated for so long. His reputation, once untouchable, now lay in ruins. Awards, honors, and professional accolades lost their meaning overnight. The arrest also had profound national implications. The CIA faced scrutiny for failing to detect a high-ranking officer engaged in espionage for years. Reforms would be mandated. Investigations would ripple across the intelligence community. The story of Harold Nicholson became a symbol of vulnerability, demonstrating that even elite agencies could be infiltrated from within. For viewers, the moment of his capture serves as the first major dramatic turning point, leaving the audience questioning how far his espionage had reached and what secrets might have been irreparably lost. Even as Harold was taken away, the tension was far from over. The investigation continued to uncover the depth of his betrayal, revealing layers of espionage that he had executed with chilling efficiency. It was a reminder that in the shadowy world of spies, the truth often emerges in waves, each more shocking than the last. The stage was set for a story that extended beyond arrest, moving into a new chapter of intrigue, consequence, and moral reflection. Once behind bars, Harold Nicholson's story continued to unfold, proving that even imprisonment could not fully contain the ripple effects of espionage. Inside the prison walls, he faced the realities of a life dismantled. The freedom he had once taken for granted was gone. Every day was a reminder of his choices, a psychological landscape filled with regret, anger, and a relentless awareness of betrayal. Yet even here he retained his intellect and cunning. He attempted to influence situations, communicate covertly, and exploit loopholes in the system, demonstrating that the skills which had made him a master spy could not be completely neutralized by confinement. Prison life was harsh and regimented. Yet Harold, ever adaptive, learned to navigate the hierarchy among inmates and staff, subtly asserting influence where he could. There were whispers that he attempted communication with foreign contacts, using methods that were painstakingly clever yet fraught with risk. The very skills that had endangered national security now became tools of survival in an entirely different arena. He studied routines, learned patterns of guards and systems, and even engaged in limited networking with others who could provide information or leverage. The consequences of his actions extended far beyond his own life. Families fractured, careers were ruined, and the intelligence community faced intense scrutiny. Policies and procedures were re-examined. The CIA had to confront the uncomfortable truth that even its most trusted officers could become threats. Harold Nicholson became a cautionary tale not just for spies, but for institutions dependent on secrecy, loyalty, and vigilance. His legacy was a mixture of fear, fascination, and moral ambiguity. Viewers are left with the haunting realization that espionage is not simply about missions or secrets, but about human weakness, ambition, and the consequences of choices made in isolation. Even from prison, Harold's story continued to teach, to warn, and to intrigue. He was a living reminder that the shadows he had navigated so expertly in the field were never fully escapable. Harold James Nicholson's story is more than a spy thriller. It is a study of ambition, secrecy, betrayal, and consequence. It reminds us that genius can be corrupted, that loyalty is fragile, and that even those entrusted with the highest responsibilities are susceptible to temptation. The ripple effects of his actions are profound. Careers destroyed, families torn apart, intelligence compromised, and public trust shaken. For viewers, the lesson is stark. In a world of espionage, nothing is as simple as it seems. Every choice carries weight. Every secret has a cost. Even brilliance cannot protect from the consequences of betrayal. Harold's story is a warning and a lesson in equal measure, reminding us that the most dangerous threats often lie within, hidden behind the guise of loyalty and competence. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the life of the highest-ranking CIA officer ever caught spying twice. If you found this story gripping, make sure to like the video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more tales of espionage, betrayal, and human drama. The shadows may hide secrets, but the consequences echo far longer than anyone anticipates.